something that really took off is this incident that happened in Hong Kong. Okay, so this happened at a place called Repulse Bay.
It's repulsive.
Yeah, I know, it certainly is.
Why did they name it that?
I think they repulsed some invaders or something, maybe.
Oh, okay.
It's a very nice place. Yeah. It's a very nice beach. It's one of the better beaches in Hong Kong, right? And some mainland uncles, evil uncles. Well, let's just see what they got up to here. Okay, I'll play it for you.
香港浅水湾海滩啊，这个大爷想找这个老外一起拍照啊，可以看得出这个大爷是趁机卡老外的油，老外有点不情愿。我们看下一个，又来一个，旁边又来了一个大爷，又想趁机卡这个老外油啊，可以看得出老外也是。
So, yeah, let's go back to that quickly. So, as you can see here, she's sitting there on the beach, you know, a girl by herself in a bikini. And these evil uncles come up to take a photo with her.
Yeah.
And she clearly doesn't want them touching her. I mean, she's sitting there in a bikini. I think it's kind of normal to not go and touch a girl sitting in a bikini on the beach.
Probably don't.
Don't do that, right? No. But they don't care. Like, as you can see, she tries to, like, actually
香港
physically
浅
remove the
水湾
guy's
海滩啊，
hand.
这个大爷想找
He fights and puts his hand back. He's like, no, I will take that photo. I will touch you.
这个老外一起拍照啊，可以看得出这个
She's obviously not very enthused by this all, right?
大爷是趁机卡老外的油，老外有点不情愿。
And then
我们看下一个，又来一个。
See, she like waves the other. She can see another guy's coming, and she's like, "No, don't do it."
旁边又来了一个
But
大
he
爷，
comes
又
and
想
puts his hand on
趁
her.
机卡这个老外。
She pushes him away, but he comes and grabs onto her
可以
anyway.
看得出老外也是。
Now, I'm going to show in the background here. This is very, very normal in China.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're a foreigner, people want to take photos with you.
Yeah.
It's super normal. You're like a circus attraction.
Yeah.
I mean, how else could you explain?
No, I'm just thinking most of the time it's fine.
Yeah, like,
it's innocent.
I'm always very polite, and I understand that they've never seen a foreigner before. It's an event for a lot of people, so I'm always obliged. You know, like for instance, here I was in Shanghai, and you know, this family that was visiting wanted to take a photo with me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's, you know, I don't mind.
No,
I'll oblige.
we always say yes.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone has their breaking point, right? So
This.
I got to just explain what happened here, right? I had just gotten off a train. I'd had a long journey, right, to go to Shaoguan, which is in Guangdong, right? Just got off the train. I'm there with my wife. We've just gone to sit down to have dinner. And, you know, you just want to sit down. I just wanted to have a beer and have something to eat.
As you do.
And this drunk guy saw that there's a foreigner, and he did this whole thing where he comes and basically slethers all over me. He's got his arms around me. Anyway, I'll just show you the clip, all right? So you can see, I'm just like, okay, let's get this over with, because this happens multiple times a day when you go into the smaller, you know, second, third tier cities in China.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Like, people always want to take a photo of you because you're like a circus animal, right?
Yes.
You're
Shout
like,
out to Lila Farley in the chat, by the way. I hope you get better.
He's feeling sick?
No, he's trying to sweat out his hangover.
Oh, yes. You and me both, brother. Anyway, so this guy comes and does his whole, like, let's take a photo together. You can see I'm obliging him. I'm like, can this just finish, basically?
Yeah.
You know, I want to have my dinner now. And then see what happens next.
我是广东青雅南的爬，
我知道。
我從業啊，我爬得行喎，佢爬住啊，什麼？爬搞到我都能爬，我最中意秘魯嘅。
得唔得？得唔得？誒，唔醉啦，唔醉啦。喂，佢第一晚嚟，你冇嚇親佢啊！以後佢對韶關，佢以後對韶關印象差唔嚟啦。
Yeah, so, I mean, the guy tried to kiss me, which is a bit weird. This
Yeah.
sweaty drunk man has his armpit all over me anyway.
Yeah.
And then he wants to try and kiss me.
Not ideal.
No, it's not ideal. And I just had to just get out of that situation. So, I'd had enough. I think everybody has their breaking point.
Sure.
But before I started filming this, don't forget, this had been going on for at least 10 or 15 minutes.
Sure.
Of them bugging me and coming and taking photos. Then they go back and then they come back and try to take more photos. So I'm just putting these two and two together. It's just like that woman on the beach. You're an attraction. They want to take a photo with you. You're some kind of circus animal. And there is just this massive lack of the idea of personal space in China.
Sure.
You'd
Big
agree.
time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Do you have any stories about your photos being taken like this?
I mean, pretty much everywhere. Anywhere you go, you're going to be the guy. But, I got so tired in the beginning of saying, like, where I was from, what I'm doing there, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So eventually, I just would come up with ridiculous stories. And I think I've said this before. One time I told people that I'm an astronaut and I came from Thailand.
Okay.
And I just made it up on the spot and they completely believed me.
Yeah.
It made it more entertaining. But at the same time, like, I'm happy to oblige because, like, when else are you going to see somebody from a different country in China?
Yeah.
It's very rare. Right?
Yeah, it is rare.
So, I mean, most of the time is totally fine, for sure.
Yeah, I'd say most of the time it's a slight inconvenience,
Yeah.
but always happy to oblige. But there are certain times where you just don't want to have to deal with this.
Lila Farley says, Winston and I are so different. I'd sit there and black out with him and end up with my phone being stolen and wallet soaked with urine.
Yeah, maybe on a different day it
Yeah,
would have been
yeah.
like that. But you know what it's like when you just finished a long
Yeah,
train
yeah.
journey and you just want to have dinner and go to the hotel.
Sure. That makes sense.
Anyway. Imagine the amount of flies that end up in these freaking bowels of dumplings. It's gross.
Fly dumplings.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Taking on all the bees.
Why did he film
I
himself?
know.
记得我们骑着相遇就在秋天。
Doesn't he sound like a little boy?
Like a 4-year-old. Figured out why she was so popular in China. So actually,
Because of
before
the pollution in the video. You see, I never get this far.
but you do in China. It's
Yeah.
cheesy. It's lame.
Yes, there we go. This is such a vibe from that time.
That is such a vibe.
Yeah, it is a
Like,
nice prop. He's got a guitar. He's not using it. And I can't hear a guitar.
There's no
Music.
guitar
Yeah.
in this.
Close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my life.